This is Jotunheim, the lost realm of the giants. And today we're going to build this entire realm from Norse mythology in Minecraft. We're on a mission to build all 9 realms of Norse mythology in Minecraft. From the roots of Yggdrasil to the fiery chaos of Muspelheim, the shadowed halls of Helheim, and the bustling plains of Midgard. But today, we conquer Jotunheim, the Giants' realm. Before we get into it, yes, this world will be available for download and some of you will get it completely for free. Stick until the end and I'll let you know how. I kicked off by generating a world in the snowy biome, then I sketched out where everything would go. The massive throne overlooking the valley, the giant's Mead Hall now is ruins, colossal frosted giant statue, half buried in ice, the pillars of the sky holding back the heavens, a giant's graveyard frozen in a moment of war, and lastly, the shattered Bifrost Portal severed from Yggdrasil. Terraforming came first. Jotunheim is defined by enormous mountains, frozen lakes, and ancient forests. I started by shaping the initial mountain range and leveled the plateau for the hall and the throne, flattened the build sites, and prepped for texturing. And I can tell that we only did about 10% of the terraforming. Then started texturing. Pure white snow looks flat, so I scattered rock texture into the slopes, then added jagged frozen spikes jutting from the landscape. And now these mountains aren't just cold, they're actually brutal. So for Jotunheim, a sapling is basically a shrub. So I placed the small tree types as undergrowth, because remember, in like the giants world, what we considered large trees would be mere bushes to them. So I scaled up these same designs to create towering forests that would feel proportional to the giants who once walked here. The pillars of the sky were my next focus, massive columns set to hold up the heavens themselves. After perfecting the design and texture of one pillar, I replicated it throughout the realm, creating a sense of ancient architecture on a cosmic scale. And if you're loving this Norse build so far, hit subscribe and ring the bell, you won't want to miss the next realm. Niflheim is called it. Next, I fixed the ground because it was just frozen lakes and the graveyard should be built above an actual ground, same for the throne by the way. So yeah. And I also added this river here. So for the giant's graveyard, I wanted to create a scene frozen in time. The aftermath of a devastating battle. So I went to the flat world where I built all the prototypes and tried to create something, but I remembered then that Minecraft actually does have fossils on it. So I just got those as blueprints and scaled them up to create enormous skeletons. Then crafted massive weapons, axes, swords, daggers, etc. But unfortunately, the game crashed and I lost the recording, so I couldn't show you how I built these actual weapons. Anyway, this was the battlefield, where the Jotnar fell. So I scattered the oversized fossils here, rib cages, skulls, and rustic axes and swords, all frozen mid-clash. The tale of Jotunheim's fall is one of the most tragic in Norse mythology. The giants of Jotnar were the oldest being in the creation, primordial forces of chaos and nature. They were not evil by nature, but their very existence threatened the order established by the Aesir gods. As the conflict between gods and giants escalated, Odin and Thor led countless raids into Jotunheim, and the final battle was catastrophic. The skies burned with lightning as Thor's hammer Mjolnir shattered the mountains themselves. When the fighting ended, the once mighty giants lay defeated. Those who survived fled to the furthest corners of the cosmos, or disguised themselves among other realms. Jotunheim itself was sealed off, the Bifrost connection severed, leaving this once mighty realm frozen in eternal winter, a monument to a fallen race. And this graveyard tells the story of the cataclysmic war that emptied Jotunheim of its inhabitants. Okay, now I copied this skeleton here, just like temporarily, just to get like to know the height of the giant and to know like how tall and big I need to make the throne and the Mead Hall. And I think that's the right size, so now let's just remove the skeleton and keep this size in mind for the next builds. So the frost-ruined giant statue represents a Jotun warrior caught in the moment of battle. His flesh turned into stone and ice, slowly eroding under the endless storms and snowstorms that happened here. I actually deliberately left it partially destroyed with some exposed bone and like crumbling features, to like convey the passage of like the countless years, and then pasted this one into the world and put it between these mountains and also next to the graveyard that we've built. And now let's just give it a little bit of like some more details and bury it under some snow just to give it like some more details. Now it's time to build the giant's Mead Hall. So first I need to carve out like a section of this mountain and flatten the area a little bit. And now let's just smooth these edges so they look natural. And now let's start building the hall itself. And there we have it, a massive feasting hall fit for giants, but now abandoned and falling apart. So I tried to add like a lot of details, to just make it look like it's been empty for centuries. Collapsed sections, withering, ice forming on the walls. This is actually where giants once gathered to feast and tell stories, and now it's just an empty shell in an empty world. So the giant statue actually that we created earlier, it's missing something. Like I don't like how the head looks. It looks a bit weird. So I'm here back at the like the flatware to create a helmet design, and I'll also scatter some helmets around the landscape, like similar to what I did with the weapons. And again, my game keeps crashing. Again, it's crashed during the recording, and this is so frustrating. So I've added these helmets throughout the world for extra detail. They help tell the story of the fallen warrior giants. Now, even though I made the hall looks abandoned, it still looks too intact actually. So let's make it more ruined. I'll remove this back section like it collapsed long ago when like the war happened, and let's add just some few debris around it, and let's raise the ground a bit here so it looks like the wall collapsed onto like a small hill, and let's just add some more debris and rocks, and yeah, perfect. Now it really looks abandoned for like thousands of years. So for the Giant's Throne, I'm reusing the design I made for Hell in our Helheim build, but scaling it way up to fit a Frost Giant King. And by the way, if you haven't seen that video, definitely check it out after this one. It was a very, very good one. And if also you want to download that world or even this one, you can get access through my Patreon. And speaking of which, huge thanks to Remy Weber, David 2005, Bryce Golden, Katie Henderson, and Lorenka for becoming Patreon members. Your support means so much, and I honestly didn't expect to get any Patreons after I just created it on the last video, so thank you so very much, guys. I've positioned this massive throne between these two mountains where it overlooked the realm, and now I'm just changing the texture and the colors a little bit and adding some damage to make it look ancient and abandoned and ruined. So the final major structure is the ruined Bifrost Portal. So in Norse mythology, the Bifrost connected the realms to Yggdrasil, but I'm imagining that when the giants were defeated, their connection was severed, leaving them trapped and isolated. So I carved out this section of the mountain near the throne for the portal, and it makes sense that it would be close to the king's throne, so he could monitor who was coming and going out and in from this realm. And look at how this throne turned out. I'm really, really amazed about this texture and how it looks. Anyway, back to my test world to design the portal. And now I'll bring it into Jotunheim and add withering, frost damage, and some scattered bones nearby. And the story here, it's actually pretty clear. This was once their connection to the other realms, and now it's just broken forever. And look at this. I am really, really proud of how this world is coming together. Everything tells its part of the story. The graveyard showing the final battle, the frozen giants caught in an eternal winter, the abandoned Mead Hall where they once celebrated, and the empty throne with no king to sit on it, the broken portal that once connected them to the other realms, plus those massive sky pillars looming over everything. It all works together to create this feeling of a once mighty civilization now lost to time. And remember how I said we only did 10% of the terraforming at the start? Now it's time to finish the other 90%. So let's build out those massive background mountains and complete the landscape. And I am really, really sorry this replay doesn't have shaders. My PC kept crashing during rendering. I tried 3 different times and wasted about 7 hours just trying to render this 15-second clip. It was insane. But eventually I had to render it without shaders just to get something usable. But you can still see how impressive these mountains looks with all the trees added and all the details. So actually guys, this build took me almost 2 months to complete. My computer crashed constantly. I lost recordings and had to redo sections multiple times. I'm planning to upgrade my PC soon once I have enough money to do that, so I'm gathering a little bit, to make these videos faster and with fewer headaches as well. But I need to know if you guys enjoy these mythology builds or no, and please let me know by hitting like and subscribing. I've also enabled super thanks on this video, so if you want to support that way, you can do that and I would appreciate it. Or also you can join me on my Patreon for access to all my world downloads and also some exclusive content. And as promised, the first 5 people who message me on Discord, which is shown on the screen, will get this Jotunheim world download completely free. I did this with the Midgard World 2 on the previous video, and several of you actually got it that way, so several of you did reach out to me and I sent them the world download. So don't be shy, reach out if you want to explore this frozen realm yourself. And for everybody else, you can still grab it on my Patreon, link below. And also let me know in the comments which myth you want to see next. And thanks for your support. peace, love, and frosty cheers. Bye!